had planned to go a different direction. And as I was looking at this and thinking about it, decided to go somewhere else, but continue with Jacob. Uh, One of the things that I think is so neat is from Genesis, oh, 26 all the way to the chapter, Jacob's in there in some form. You know, we can read those chapters very quickly. What got me thinking, got me involved with this, how much time is involved here? Start breaking these times down, really look at it. It was just amazing. The stuff that's in here. And in this one chapter has a lot of stuff in it. And I got to just reading and it just, the Lord was opening doors. That's what I want to kind of bring to you guys, some I've thought about and it's been shown to me. Here Jacob, recap from last time we had Sunday school, Jacob has left. Him and his mom has kind of been deceitful. So he had to leave town to keep his brother Esau from killing him, or he was going to wait till after his dad died. That's an amazing one right there. But in time frame, but here went to Laban's house, found his mother's family, and he was excited because the Lord said, I'll take care of you. When he left, I'll take care of you and I'll bring you back. But start here in chapter 29, verse 13, Jacob, I think is pretty neat here. He rolled the stone away, this big stone, and watered Rachel brought him in. And I think about this as a note for later. He watered, she's the only one leaving. There wasn't a lot of them, I don't think. But just remember that. You didn't go through this. But here in verse 13, and it came to pass when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him and embraced him, kissed him, brought him to his house, told Laban all these things. And Laban said to him, surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And he abode with him 1 month. So he's there, he's talked to him, told him everything, about his family, so he knows that he's legitimate his family. So he's been there for a month. I think sometimes we miss that little, and he abode with him a space of 1 month. I think there's the things that we miss when we're just reading through. So he's been there a month. And Laban, verse 15, Laban said unto Jacob, because thou art my brother, shouldest thou therefore serve me for naught? Tell me, what shall thy wages be? So Jacob's not just sitting around enjoying his vacation. He's working, helping, being part of the family and what's going on. And he's like, you're my brother, I've got to pay you something. What is your wages? What do you want me to pay you? And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the youngest Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. And Jacob loved Rachel and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter. So here, you got these two ladies, and one's tender-eyed and one's Rachel. And it's really, when we know this story, we understand a lot more about that tender-eyed. And this is what got me to thinking. I was wanting to go into the kids, but I got to thinking about these two ladies. And the two different, they're so different. And Jacob, okay, Leah being tender-eyed, and I looked it up, soft, gentle words, weak of heart. I know some people like that. So all you get is a visual outside. And Rebecca, or Rachel, is beautiful and well favored, only on the outside. And I thought, what do we look for as guys? When you start looking for a mate, you look on the outside. You're looking to the outside. And did you find anywhere that Jacob actually prayed about what he should do? He went with what he thought. He didn't look beyond the beauty of the outside. So many times that's what we do. We look at people, we judge them by their outside, not the inside. That's what I want to go through and with these two ladies on the different personalities a little bit on each one. And when Jacob told him, I'll work 7 years, I wonder where he come up with 7 years. But also, I don't know how old Rebecca or Leah are, or Rachel. I keep getting all that stuff. But somebody said something to me, Dad actually said something to me about how old Jacob was. I'm working on that. I hope to have a lesson on some of these ages because it got fascinating in a hurry. And the oldest, I'm at the age right now of Jacob being 40. I know he's older. I haven't found the scriptures to add all that together. So I'm still working on it. And it's fascinating when you get into it, but that's what got me kind of started. So Jacob's older than 40, and he hasn't married. So I wonder how old these two ladies are. So when you think about him being at least older than 40, your mind changed to the story because I had him always being a young man, and these ladies being young. So you got to really get deeper into it. So Jacob here has told him, I'll work 7 years for Rachel. And verse 19, Laban said, it is better that I give her to thee than that I should give her to another man. Abide with me. And Jacob served 7 years with Rachel, and they seemed to him but a few days, for he loved for the love he had for her. He had such a love for her, if we call it love. I think when you go courting or dating, it's not love they have for somebody, it's a lust. I think love comes in time. But it seemed as only a few days, 7 years. I kind of see him as he had a stack of calendars there for 7 years. He marked them off one year at a time. He got down to that last year, 7th year. He's counting off months. The last month, counting off the days. Because in verse 21, Jacob said unto Laban, give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. So she's already considered to be his wife at this point in time. In verse 22, and Laban Laban, I always get Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah, his daughter, and brought her to him, went in unto her, and Laban gave his daughter Leah, Zilpah, his maid, her handmaid. So here he had the wedding or the feast. Laban gives Jacob Leah instead. And then in verse 25, and it came to pass in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said unto Laban, what this thou hast done unto me? Did I not serve thee for Rachel? Therefore, then hast thou beguiled me. And Laban said, it must not be done in our country, give the younger before the firstborn. So he has this, I guess this was a custom. You can't give the firstborn first, or the youngest before the firstborn. And here in verse 27, fulfill her week, we will give thee also for service which thou shalt serve with me yet 7 other years. Jacob did so and fulfilled her week, and he gave him Rachel the daughter to be wife also. And Laban gave Rachel his daughter Bilhah, his handmaid, to be her maid. Okay, verse 30. And he went in also unto Rachel. He loved also Rachel more than Leah, and served with him yet 7 other years. There's a lot in this little bit. You think about it. Here Jacob was lied to. So Laban said, go ahead, I'll give Rachel in a week, but you got to serve me 7 more years. That's like kind of dirty, ain't it? It's like, here's a contract, you fulfilled the contract, but we're adding to it to make you stay. But how would you, have you ever thought about what Leah thought that first morning? How about Rachel? She thought she was being married that day, and it wasn't her. It was her sister. And, here Jacob, he's stuck in the middle, kind of a way. I don't know all their culture and all that. But he fulfilled her week, and then he was given Rachel. Jacob loved Rachel a lot more than Leah. I'm trying to catch up with my notes. In verse 31, and when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, I think this is what's neat. This is when the Lord got involved. God took over. And he opened her womb, and Rachel was barren. So God is now in control of these. And Leah was hated. But as you look at Leah and Rachel, is the two very far in this, I wouldn't, adding up in a hurry. But here Leah's having children, Rachel's not. And if you look up Leah, her name in the Bible, it appears 32 times. Every time you look at Leah, her name and what was said or she was saying, it was regarding her kids. And everything was good that was being said about her. And that's what I thought was neat. But then I know there was a conflict between Rachel and, there had to be. Because in chapter 30, in verse 14, is the conflict they have. And in verse 14, and Reuben went in, this is one of Rachel's or Leah's kids, and Reuben went in the day of wheat harvest, found a mandrake in the field, and brought them unto his mother Leah. Then Rachel said to Leah, give me, I pray, thy son's mandrake. Said unto her, is it a small matter that thou hast taken my husband, and wouldest thou take away my son's mandrake also? And Rachel said, therefore he shall lie with thee tonight for thy son's mandrake. I think it's kind of neat. Leah said, you've taken my husband. You're going to take this too? And this is really the only conflict that the Bible puts down. But I think there was always an undertow with them two. But when you get into looking at Rachel, because Leah is 32 times, Bible Rachel is 44 times. Rachel's not always good. But what Jacob seen was only with the eyes at the beginning. I have to hurry to get there. But here in chapter 30 and verse 1 kind of sets to me kind of the tone of Rachel and how her attitude. And when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister and said unto Jacob, give me children, or else I die. Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel, and he said, Am I in God's stead? Whom hath withheld from thee the fruit of the womb? So she just had an attitude. And she fussed at Jacob. To me, that kind of sets how she was. I think she thought because of her beauty, she could do a lot of things. Women like that. But also remember Hannah wanted a child. Where did she go? She prayed about it. And I think of Isaac, when Rebecca wasn't barren, they had been married 30 years. Went and prayed for her to have children. So here, Rachel's going to the wrong person. He can't do nothing about it. But then also, in Genesis chapter 31, verse 19, 20, Jacob is going to leave. And here in verse 19, and Laban went to shear the sheep, and Rachel, had stolen his images that were her father's. And Jacob stole away unaware of Laban in that he told him not, that he fled. So Jacob's leaving at this point in time. So Rachel goes in. What she do? She steals her dad's images. And then get okay, chapter 31, verse 30. Here Laman is held up with them, and like, hey, somebody stole my image. They had to work it out. But what was neat was before he got there, God went to him in a vision and leave him. In so many words, he said, he has to go back home. And now in verse 30, and now thou wouldest need be gone, because thou sore longest after thy father's house. Yet wherefore hast thou stolen my gods? Jacob said to Laman, because I was afraid, for I said, peradventure thou wouldest taken by force thy daughters from me. Withsoever thou findest thy gods, let him not live before our brethren. So what is thine is with me, and take it of thee. And Jacob knew not that Rachel had stolen them. And Laban went in unto Jacob's tent, and to Leah's tent, and to handmaids, but he found them not. Then went out of Leah's tent, entered into Rachel's tent, and Rachel had taken the images, put them in the camel's furniture, and set upon them. And Laman searched all the tents, but found them not. Said unto her father, let it not displease my lord that I cannot rise up before thee, for the custom of women is upon me. And I searched, but found not the image. So here Rachel's got it. This is the next time that Rachel's mentioned, and she's stolen these, and I think it's funny, his gods. His gods were stolen. And she hid his gods. She's sitting on his gods. That's not the same God as Jacob served. Also, they fled. She had them. But here in Genesis chapter 35, verse 16, they've left. They're in Canaan. Chapter 35, verse 16. And they sojourned from Bethel, and there was but a little ways in Ruth, and Rachel travailed, and she had hard labor. And it came to pass, was in hard labor, that the midwife said unto her, fear not, thou shalt have this son also. And it came to pass, as her soul was departing, for she died, that she called the name Ben, but the father called him Benjamin. And Rachel died and was buried in the way of Ephraim, which is Bethlehem. And Jacob set a pillar upon her grave. There is the pillar of Rachel's grave unto this day. So Rachel here has died. And he buried her there where he was, and he set a pillar there. But you go to chapter Genesis chapter 49, verse 49, verse 29. Here Jacob, they're in Egypt now. Jacob is old, he's fixing to die. He charged them, said unto them, I am to be gathered to my people, bury me with my father, a cave that is in the field of Ephron, the Hittite, and I'm going to butcher these. In the cave that is in the field of, which is before Mamre, in the land of Canaan, which Abraham bought of the field of Ephron, the Hittite, for a possession of a burying place. There they buried Abraham and Sarah, his wife. There they buried Isaac and Rebekah, his wife. There I buried Leah. The price of the field of the cave that is therein was from the children of Heth. Here, and I looked, and I didn't get a chance. I didn't find where Leah died. I had just missed it. But here he buried Leah in the family cemetery, as they would say today. He learned to love Leah in a different way. Those tender eyes, they kind of grew on him in a way. He got to see what was really about Leah was all about. Rachel stole God's. I think Leah had true God. I think I see that. I may be wrong, but Leah followed after her husband. I think he was the kind of wife that every husband wants. Rachel was kind of a thorn. and some of what she did. So it's not all in what you look at is on the outside. You look at the inside. I think that's what Jacob finally seen that Leah was a good wife. That's the one he really needed. But and this is, I've not even scratched the surface of some of this stuff that's in this. Just this little. It's a story, but it's our history, the history. And I think it's neat how that it was preserved and how all this was wrote down by Moses. I think that's what's neat too. And there's just so much in looking into this, and I hope to continue on. And as I've looked into it, as I've studied and read it, looking for different things, there's other things that's been brought out. It's just like encouraging you to read every day. And that's something I've learned to do consistently read. And in studying, never know what you find. And there's still a lot in here. I want to go back and go through these kids. And when you think about it, there's just so much in here. And don't slow down our reading. Reading through the Bible in a year, because for me it's way too fast. I can't read that much. I'm very slow. But if you take your time, there's a lot of stuff. And it'll encourage you. Just like Tim brought out, Elijah, no better person than had the same struggle, just like Jacob had the same struggles with just life. But we'll be dismissed with a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you